Obedience over image, living for God, not applause. If your obedience depends on approval, it's not obedience, it's performance. Hi, ladies. Welcome to the next episode in the Biblical Femininity series. We're on episode 9 of the 10-part series. We have one more left to go, and I'm excited to bring you today's episode. We're talking about obedience over image and the quiet, unseen kind. If you've ever struggled with doing what's right when no one claps for it, then this episode is for you. Let's talk about obedience over image without getting it twisted. So by now, we all know that biblical femininity is not about looking righteous. It's about being aligned. Social media has made performance easy, but obedience is often quiet, private, and uncelebrated. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. That's Colossians 3:23 from the Bible. So when your focus shifts from applause to alignment, your peace increases. Image asks, how does this look? Obedience asks, is this right? Now, there will be moments when obedience costs you. Don't get it twisted. It's going to cost you popularity, validation. You're going to be cost giving up comfort. But integrity builds something image never can, which is character. So sometimes God will call you to do things that makes no sense publicly, but that make perfect sense spiritually, right? And that's where biblical femininity shines, in quiet submission to God, not loud performance for people. And the first thing we want to talk about is performance. So performance is easy, but obedience is costly. Right? Because performance seeks validation, obedience seeks alignment, and performance adjusts to please people, but obedience adjusts to please God. Do you see the difference there? Listen, if it only works when people are watching, it's not obedience. Okay. And then your image. Image is about appearance, but integrity, the flip side, is about character. You can look right publicly and be misaligned privately. We all know that. God measures obedience in private moments, and true femininity is consistent, not curated. Listen, God is more concerned with your obedience than with your optics. He doesn't care what it looks like. He just wants you to be doing what He has commanded and requires of us to do per the scriptures. But obedience often feels lonely. You may lose approval. You definitely may be misunderstood. You may not get the applause that you think you should get, but peace replaces performance anxiety. Like, who cares? Your peace, you're doing what you're commanded to do, what you're called to do. You're going to have peace in that. And then your confidence replaces comparison. So I'm confident in what I'm doing. I know that I'm on the right path. So I'm not going to compare myself to someone else who may be doing the same thing, or anyone else for that matter, because I'm doing what God has chosen me to do or called me to do. And just know that obedience may cost you popularity, but it gives you peace in the long run. And also remember, softness is strength, because we're talking about biblical femininity. We're talking about living in our feminine, being soft, being strong women who are still soft and nurturing and kind and loving and respond in gentleness and peace. But softness doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean weakness. Jesus described himself as gentle. And he's one of the strongest people that we know that walked on earth, right? Gentleness is controlled strength. It takes strength to be gentle, especially in situations where you could easily become hardened. It takes discipline to respond calmly. And loud isn't powerful. Just because you are the loudest woman in the room or you're out speaking someone else, you're not powerful because you're loud or over talking. Loudness isn't powerful, but self-control is. Anyone can react. Not everyone can restrain. Let's talk about our tone. Since we were talking about the loud woman in the room, how loud isn't powerful, your tone can escalate or diffuse a situation. And, the term kill them with kindness, a gentle tone turns away wrath. You can be firm without being harsh. Calm energy is authoritative. It's shows your strength. Softness isn't insecurity, it's composure. We want to be composed as biblical feminine women, and we want to show our strength and our softness. We know a raised voice doesn't make you right, but what we can do is have some kind of emotional regulation. Softness requires healing. Trauma makes people react Biblical femininity includes emotional maturity. You can pause before responding. We've said this before. You can say, let me get back to you on that, or let's table this for another time, especially in a heated debate or conversation that just seems to be veering off on a wrong path. Take control of the situation, especially in your home. We're talking about our families and relationships and with our friends and loved ones. For me, healing made me softer, not weaker. Ladies, here are a few core scriptures you can meditate on this week. Proverbs 15:1, 1 Peter 3:3-4, and Matthew 11:29. In closing, are you living for alignment or applause? Think about that. And if this episode challenged you in a good way, follow the podcast and share it with someone who values integrity, who wants to live in their feminine, who wants to build that biblical femininity and become the woman of God that the Bible describes. And I'll see you in the final episode of this series. We have one more left. I'm excited to wrap it up. And until next time, enjoy your blessings, enjoy your life, and have peace.